Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, there's a statement that I've stumbled upon, and this statement is pointing to the fact that maybe what the youths have been saying is true. Recently, Moses Kuria was appointed into the government as a senior advisor. And that means he is part of the Council of Advisors in William Ruto's cycle. And that is where we have people like David Lee also. Now, there's something that Amin has taken issue with regarding this appointment of Moses Kuria and the role that Moses Kuria has abrogated himself. I want to take you to a statement here that Amin seems to be revealing to the people, and which points to the fact that William Ruto is the one who is causing problems to his own government. Why? Because if Moses Kuria was fired on the grounds of incompetency, how can he be reappointed as a senior advisor and advise those people who are back in the cabinet and people who are considered to be competent? If Ruto knew that Moses Kuria was competent, why didn't he reappoint him back? So I want to take you to this statement by Amin. It's a very explosive statement, but before you do that, please like this video. It is so important if you like this video. I'm so grateful for everyone who has been liking our videos. I don't take that for granted. Subscribe to our channel if you've not subscribed before, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Sometimes I want to believe that what people have been saying, that Ruto is actually the problem within his own government, maybe that fact is true. So let me first take you to this tweet that Amin posted, because this is a very good reaction to what is happening in the broad-based government. These days we call it broad-based, not Kenya Kwanza. Now he says, Kenya is a funny country. My good friend Honorable Moses Kuria was unceremoniously fired by His Excellency William Ruto a few weeks ago for several weighty grounds that were enumerated in a press release. President Ruto subsequently reconstituted his cabinet. Now we have the very man who was fired and found wanting and unfit to be a cabinet secretary all over the place, dishing advice to those whom President Ruto found competent and fit on how to run their respective ministries. I swear this country is not serious, and the blame squarely falls on the shoulders of President Ruto. So Amin in a nutshell is blaming William Ruto based on this statement. And I partly agree with Amin, because the person who is causing problems is actually the president himself. If this debate of Moses Kuria's incompetency took center stage, and in fact, when the Gen Zs were demonstrating, one of the people who was constantly being mentioned was Moses Kuria. And you of course know that Moses Kuria, when he was the trade cabinet secretary, he was never on good terms with the media people. Remember sometimes back again when he said that some of those media TV stations, or rather they were going to be denied tenders. Why? Because they showcased the issue of edible oil, and that did not sit well with Moses Kuria, who found it as a way of exposing the government negatively, according to him. Now, what followed was that there was some kind of reshuffle that happened, and we saw Moses Kuria and Rigathi Gachagua almost clash the moment Moses Kuria talked about watu wachimbe visima vao. So Moses Kuria is regarded as one of the most incompetent based on what people have been saying. So Amin visit this issue and says, how can you appoint someone who is incompetent? You see, this incompetent person is the person who is supposed to advise competent people. If at all you thought Moses Kuria was competent, why didn't you reappoint him into the cabinet secretary, just like you did with Murkomen and Kithure Kindiki? You see, I agree with Amin now 90%. I'm almost at 100% in agreement with him, because his reasoning this time round makes sense. I don't know whether this issue ever crossed on William Ruto's mind when he was thinking of appointing Moses Kuria as a senior advisor. Personally, if I were Ruto and I'm being pushed to reappoint Moses Kuria, I would have allocated him maybe another chair of another board somewhere, a lighter job.
But I am delighted that it is not as bad as it is made to appear out there. I am happy to see a team that is all putting to the same direction. There is some discipline in terms of the tracker. For me, that is life is managed by tools. Yeah, as long as you have a tool that's universally accepted. And I believe now you had another tool called the pilot checklist. Mine is just to ask you just to keep your head low above the noises and focus on success of the program, not what people think about it. Yeah, as long as it's working. After Christmas, we can do a postmortem when everything is working. But for now, you know all the noises. Some of us will help you on the political levels and noises and all that kind of thing. As long as it works, for me, it wouldn't matter who thinks what about it. Let it work. When it's working, we'll move forward. Okay.
Moses Kuria seems to be seated and talking to the cabinet secretary on health and then other health stakeholders. Cabinet secretary sat there and senior advisor Moses Kuria advising that cabinet secretary on how things should be done. When he was a CS for trade back then, Kuria found himself on the wrong side of the book with media personality because they had aired a certain scandal about edible oil, and this scandal did not sit well with Moses Kuria. I hope you remember that story very well, and it forced Moses Kuria to make a statement, a very disturbing statement, that certain media companies were not going to be given tenders from the government. And this matter did not sit well with so many people. And then there is this issue of reshuffles, cabinet reshuffles. Ada Moses Kuria kusema kwamba watu wachimbe visima. I don't know if you remember that statement also, and that forced Rigathi Gachagua to now intervene and respond to Moses Kuria and literally called him incompetent. And I think what followed thereafter is that there was some, back and forth, responses here and there. So Moses Kuria and Rigathi Gachagua were, clashing all the time. You could see tweets which were suggestive. Then what followed is that the Gen Zs protested. And remember that protest? And then what followed that protest is William Ruto disbanding the old cabinet and terming it incompetent. So the people who were brought back, according to the perception of other people, is that those are the people that William Ruto considered competent. Now, the ones who were not brought back, like Aisha Jumwa, are people considered to be incompetent. So the fact that Moses Kuria has been reappointed and is given a mandate of advising competent people is what is not making Amin Nasir happy. And Amin Nasir chose to react to this matter, and that's why you find that from reaction, he says that William Ruto is actually the problem. The problem is not these people. Problem is William Ruto. So the question here, ladies and gentlemen, is Ruto using these advisors to be the people communicating his message to the cabinet secretaries so that he can be busy on the ground campaigning? Because you remember the 4 days he has been in Kisumu, or rather in Nyanza, touring those regions in Nyanza. It's a bit different from the way he used to do things previously. Back then, he could just go to Mount Kenya, Rift Valley, Mount Kenya, Rift Valley, and then coast. Mount Kenya, Rift Valley, Mount Kenya, Rift Valley, and then coast, and then western. But he could skip Nyanza and those areas of Raila Amolo Odinga. But you see the reception he got made him, I think he almost overstayed there. Even had a town hall session with the people of Kisumu. I remember that story, and I believe you followed that story. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.